What we're going to do today is introduce folks to, we're going to build an exercise program from what we call our B21. Okay, and the B21 are basic exercises that I consider foundational. They are the exercises that should be done and mastered that make all other exercises better. Some of you are familiar with them, some of you are not. And what we're going to do is walk through them slowly. For those of you out there on Facebook watching, feel free to join us here on Zoom. The number and stuff should be there on Facebook. I can probably recite it for you. Somebody's going to have to tell me, though, because I can't see it.
The Zoom participation meeting is 364-124-544.
364-124-544 is the Zoom meeting number. 164. I forgot the middle three numbers. 164.
364-544.
All right, now back to the meeting. So, first half of this is going to be a little bit of a workout. We're going to do some exercises. I'm going to coach the exercises. You're going to be there in your own space, doing them just like being coached here in the studio. A little less personal, but close. So, Sam, we've got some images of the B21 now.
Yes.
Sam will put that up there for us in just a second. Share his screen. Looks like Paulette has joined us, or is joining us. Oh, that's Sam, apparently. All right, here we have the B21. That's all the exercises, okay? And there are 4 categories of movements. We have exercises that are more known like traditional exercises. Those are the foundation 5, which include on the right, pelvic tilt, knee rock back, crunch, side double, leg raise, and plank. We're going to do pelvic tilt today. Other traditional exercises we have are on the top. We see pull-up, reverse fly, push-up, sit squat, side step, and walking person. Those are our standing 7 exercises. Okay, and today we are going to do sit squat. On the left side, we have the stretches: lunge stretch, knee to chest stretch, figure 4, seated hamstring, and standing calf stretch. All traditional movements. Today, we are going to do the knee to chest stretch out of that set. And lastly, we have our butterflies. And butterflies are movements that just help us break out of a cramp or break out of a stiffness. If you're a little bit stiff when you get up and go to walk away from the dinner table, do some butterflies underneath the table. That's the one we're going to be working with today. Additionally, we have bicycles, arm swings, and rapid slaps, which we'll touch on the next show. The way these shows are going to roll out is we're going to do one exercise from each category on each show and do a little workout with it. And then we're going to bring on guests and talk to them about their relationship to these exercises. So the next thing that's going to happen here is Sam is going to cue us up the pelvic tilt video. And if you could all kind of find a place where you can lay down, find some floor space, and still see a screen, you can kind of, or even if you just sit and focus on the video and watch the video, what we're just doing is highlighting all the elements of the exercise, kind of get them in your mind. And then what we're going to do is cut to Tiffany, and we'll have me verbally instructing Tiffany through the motion for the benefit of all who are online here with us. And then we'll take a look at any volunteers who want to have their form critiqued. All right? So Sam, whenever you're ready, you can roll that video. And I just looked over at my phone and it said start live video. So Facebook is just starting now.
All right, cool.
Join us on Zoom. You see this video is silent, but it's showing you all the high points, how to align the legs, keep the feet aligned, not let them be too far away or too close. You want them right there in the sweet spot, in the middle, about 1 1/2 of your own foot's distance from your butt bone. Now we're looking at chin to throat, right? Chin to throat's an important part of that base setting. Now for some of you out there with neck issues, remember, chin to throat is an exercise in and of itself that you can give it 20 or 30 reps to. Focusing on the pelvic tilt, but even this simple exercise has sub-elements. You see the knee pad on her knee that provides a little feedback. There you go. Great. Again, we're watching a video on here for all you folks joining us on Facebook, and that video is rolling on Zoom if you care to join us. There should be a link right on our Facebook page, Dynamic Balance. All right, looks like that video has rolled, and we are now going to cut to Tiffany. And if we could lock Tiffany as our main screen.
Make me the speaker.
All right, well, I don't see Tiffany locking onto my screen, but we're going to start instructing her anyway. And if there's any way we can pull her up and lock that screen, that would be great. So first of all, Tiffany, we're going to start with a couple deep breaths, right? There we go. I see it now. Big breaths, relaxing, not really thinking about anything except just kind of letting go, letting your body weight fall into the mat. All right? And then she's going to put a little bit of attention to her feet. And that's where we start, is with the feet. We're going to bring those heels into nice alignment. There you go. And we're going to get the ray of the second toe parallel to the ray of the opposite foot's second toe.
You want to see my foot?
The ray of the toe
right?
goes from the tip all the way back into the foot. And she's going to have her feet about hip width apart. And the next thing is you want to really feel the pad of your foot. The pad of that metatarsal arch, it's called a transverse arch, and you want to feel the first knuckle of your big toe making a presence with the floor, right there where she's showing. Perfect. So that makes a hard plant. And then she's going to wake up chin to throat a little bit. She's getting her arms out of the way so she's not tempted to cheat. And then she's just going to work some chin to throats. Chin goes down, release. Release, there you go. And keep going and stay relaxed, Tiffany, because what's happening here, as she's bringing her chin down, you can see that her rib cage is lifting up a little bit, right? So as she's doing the chin to throat, her pelvic tilt is sort of going off and on. And that's okay right now because we really haven't talked about pelvic tilt yet. But you're going to go ahead and set that chin to throat, and then we're going to bring pelvic tilt into play. So that right there is a nice base for pelvic tilt. We've got the feet planted, chin to throat is set, and then we're going to get an inhale breath. And then as we exhale, we're going to do the first tilt. And you'll see her back flattening toward the mat, and she's going to hold that for 1, 2, 3, and then she's going to release in 1, 2, 3. Excellent work. And again, on the next breath, and you notice Tiffany's pretty good at this. She's been doing it a long time. And you can see that her breath is really well synchronized with the initiation of the actions, right? She inhales when she releases. She exhales as she does the next motion, okay? We're gonna let her do a few reps there. I'm gonna address the crowd here on Facebook Live and say we hope that you'll join us on Zoom and you'll be able to see the video that I'm referencing here. Meeting ID is 364-124-544. Again, 364-124-544. We hope you'll join us on Zoom. All right, Tiffany, how many reps are we at there?
Maybe 7.
7, good. So we're going to do 20 reps, guys. Exhaling, and you're all doing this with us. And release. I'm going to do some counting here to give a little bit of pace to it, okay? Because we We're gonna, everybody take a break, get an inhale breath. With that inhale breath, you're gonna begin to tilt, and that tilt is gonna last 1, 2, 3. Then the hold is gonna last 1, 2, 3. And then the release is gonna last 1, 2, 3. And then the next rep, exhaling in 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna hold 2, 3. Still exhaling, we begin to exhale as we release 1, 2, 3. And okay, and I see I'm broadcasting from my private Facebook account. So Tiffany, if you could continue those reps and call out a count for me for everybody, that would be great. Okay, everybody here is on Facebook Live.
My mic on?
Appreciate it. I'm going to switch.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 'cause I was kind of
All right. We're going to go into the tilt, and you are breathing out. 2, 3. Hold. 2, 3. Release. Inhale. 2, 3. Check your chin to throat. Might have came undone. Reset it. Check your base again. Check your feet. Stay in line. Grip your legs. And you're going to exhale. 2, 3. Hold it, and release. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3. Keep exhaling. 2, 3.
So I'm
Inhale.
I'm
As you release.
restarting a live video that was previously on my private feed. I did that by mistake. I'm sorry. I hope to see you guys join me again.
Make sure your pelvis and your rib cage are coming in together. And you can always give yourself a little cough to see if you have any more to give here. See how tight you can really get, how flat you can get, and then release. 2, 3. And exhale. 2, 3. Hold it. Inhale as you release. Exhale. 2, 3. Holding. Hold it. Inhale as you release.
Excellent work, Tiff. What's our count?
Oh boy, I lost count. Probably 21.
All right. Let's call it good on this one, everybody. So now let's cut back to the full audience here on Zoom and see if anybody's willing to let me take a look at their form or has any questions. If you do have questions, use the raise your hand feature on Zoom, and Sam will be able to see you and will highlight your video for us. Come on, somebody raise those hands. You bunch of chickens.
Come on, Goose.
All right. Who do we have? Anybody do it? How did everybody do with that?
Awesome.
Was that worthwhile and beneficial and better than doing it all by yourself and thinking about Pop-Tarts and stuff? All right. All right. So.
I wish I had some pop.
So what I'm trying to do right now is to find this Zoom number again to call out to our folks on Facebook, but it's not showing it to me. So maybe.
Nobody's joining.
Somebody want to just yell out that number for me? It's not popping up at the top like it was before.
Yeah, the number is 346
364. I got it now. I was in full
Oh.
screen, so you can't see the headline at the top in full screen.
Write it down, Mark.
364.
It's 364-124-544. Folks on Facebook, again, 364-124-544. If you want to join us in Zoom. All right. So I don't have any takers or any questions on that particular exercise. A? All right.
What about telling us like what does it do? What's this like?
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit. This exercise is great for folks with back pain. Number one, first and foremost, if you've got back pain, this creates a very gentle rocking of the vertebra back and forth, okay? You got to realize that these systems inside of our body, vertebra and disc, those are sealed systems, okay? And the only way you create blood flow in them is by engaging them and moving them, okay? Over time, in our society, it involves a lot of sitting and tight hips and tight back muscles. Those vertebrae essentially get clamped down by muscles. This pelvic tilt is a gentle, relaxed means of engaging intervertebral motion that helps with blood flow, okay? That blood flow is the beginning and the essence of the healing process, okay? So that's the number one hit I'll give this exercise. Secondary to that, this exercise is fundamental to all the other exercises you're ever going to do. Because whether you're sitting or standing or kneeling or crouching, you want to have your pelvic tilt in control, okay? And we start by planting the feet on the ground. When you're standing, you plant your feet on the ground. When you're getting up from sitting, you use the same dynamics to plant your feet on the ground, okay? This really is where it all starts. I can instruct a lot of tiny micro elements without really putting a super ton of focus on it. You can check our wax on, wax off video that's floating around out there somewhere. And that talks about how just repetitive motion becomes automated reflex. In our world, we have a lot of repetitive motions that become aberrant reflex. Within dynamic balance, we create a series of repetitive motions that recreate what I call anatomical or inborn reflex. All right, and with that, we're gonna move, so let's pretend we never had an interruption between doing our pelvic tilts and this next movement, which is gonna be butterfly. I'm gonna let Sam roll the butterfly video, and then we'll come back to Tiffany. All right.
Here we go. Oh yeah, I do too, actually. Especially when you just.
Here's the butterfly exercise coming out. It's really simple. It's just basically opening and closing your legs. And you want to do it in a manner that's really loose and relaxed, because it's all about relieving the tension. Tension erasers. All right. Excellent. Again, on Facebook, folks that are there, this is a free Zoom stream if you'd like to join us. The link is on our dynamic balance page.
Missing each other.
All right.
Oh,
See how she started nice and slow and then ramped up.
Now put the chair away.
All right. Good. Right, and don't go crazy with it. Don't whip it. You want it to be in control. Pelvic tilt and chin to throat, always important. You see her putting those on here in the sitting position. All right. Breaks the cycle of pain. All right. I believe we can cut on that probably at this point. And let's cut to Tiffany. All right, Tiff, there she is. And notice that when she starts this butterfly exercise, right, she's got her chin to throat in place. Her pelvic tilt is on. So pelvic tilt on, butterfly, right? Because that pelvic tilt is part of her base now. Tiffany, show us a sample of a really sloppy pelvic tilt with no, really sloppy butterfly with no pelvic tilt, right? You see how the back bounces up and down, her chin will jut out, excuse me, all of those are creating kind of negative energies, pinching, binding, grinding sorts of motions. She puts that pelvic tilt on, sets the chin to throat, makes that all stable and controlled, and then you only do the butterfly motion within the range that you can comfortably do it. Right? All right, great. And questions or concerns? That's a pretty simple one. The one question I would have in this, does anyone feel any pain, pinching, or binding in this?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
That's excellent. If you would slow that down and do it within control. Okay. That exercise right there is a lifesaver for so many people I can't even tell you. They don't even do the other exercises, but they build a habit that when they get out of bed in the morning, they do butterflies and bicycles.
So I could
When
be
they-
in bed.
Huh?
I could be in bed and then do it before I get up.
Yeah. And before you get out of your car, how many people do you see getting out of their car and their first 2 or 3 steps are kind of, they have a limp in them, right? Butterflies eliminate that for people. It really like wakens you up, sets you straight, and reminds you of a lot of other things at the same time. It's loosening up the hips. Okay, so I am going to let Sam roll into our third exercise, which is going to be stretch, knee to chest. So all of these things go together. You're all lying on your back. You do your pelvic tilts, you fatigue some muscles, you do some butterflies, you loosen it up. When you're done the butterflies, loose, everything straight aligned, you do your knee to chest stretch. So Sam's going to roll knee to chest for us. I'm going to check in with the Facebook crowd while you watch that. So I will not be commenting directly on it. Hopefully you will get what you need from the video there.
Set your base.
Set your base. Good.
All right, Facebook folks, who we got?
I love these actually.
Michael, Ruth, and get the Dynamic Balance meeting ID in the thread there. One of my guys did that. It was awesome. Tell your friends, folks. Join the Zoom. See, we got this little video going here on Zoom. That's what everybody else is watching. Whoops, got to get rid of that. There's the video everybody else is watching on Zoom. Working through the knee to chest stretch. Well, it seems to be paused. Hey guys, is that video paused or is it me?
It's over.
Oh, it's over? That was
Yeah, it's over.
All right. I went
We're
off.
ready for Tiffany.
All right, note to self. So everybody, let's cut to Tiffany. See, we tried to make them quick and easily digestible. I guess we did. Here's Tiffany. And, okay, one really important thing that I want to get across about knee to chest stretch and other exercises from your back. Tiffany, we're going to do a don't here, okay? Put both legs out straight. Lift one leg up straight. Don't do that, okay? That's the maximum back strain way to lift a leg, okay? What I want you to do is do it, just slide your foot up with a bent knee. Yeah, she's just gonna slide that foot into place, then grab it. There you go. Especially important. I'm going through a lot of details and particulars that are relevant mostly to people with pain and issues because that's a large part of my population. If you're totally healthy, you can be a little less tight on some of these concerns. So we're going to go into the knee to chest, and we try to hold a stretch for up to 2 minutes here at Dynamic Balance. So I'm going to mark on the clock here for myself, and she's going into it. She's got a nice tight grip of her fingers. The tighter you grip the fingers, the easier it is to hold. And Tiff, I'd have you pull your shoulders down to the mat a little bit tighter, and then use that bicep strength to pull it in. In the meantime, you're kicking the left leg away and out, right? So the straight leg, you're kicking your heel far out away from you while you pull your knee into your chest. And we're pulling and holding, and we just crossed the 30-second mark. Let's pay attention to the breath for a minute. Nice big full inhale, and you pull and you try to tighten up the stretch on the exhale. Exhale is when the body is letting go of tension. And that's when you can make the gains in the stretch. Tiff, let's see you force that heel out a little bit more and see if we can get that thigh down a little closer. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Good job. All right. I see other people working at it. Good deal. Let that foot relax, Sarah. You got that. There you go. Nice relaxed foot. Everything should be loose except the arms. The arms and shoulders and the chin to throat effort in this are the only things that are really working. Okay. And we are approaching 1 minute right now. Ding dong. Keeping that breath. If you need to release the stretch a little bit, if it's binding up, go for it and start it over for the second minute. There you go. Tiffany, you can pull your elbows into your body a little bit, and there'll be a little less work on the pull. Good. All right. Now everybody's going to take a deep breath. You're going to brace your hands and arms, and you're going to push your knee into your hands really hard for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the push of the knee and breathe. And then as it relaxes, you're going to pull the knee tighter into the body. That push technique fatigues some of the resistance and allows you to get it a little closer. Okay. And coming around on 2. Big final breaths, big final push to the finish. There you go. Good movement, Tiff. All right. I see relaxed feet. I like. Good. Let's bring that down and do a couple of butterflies. Just a few easy butterflies for everybody. Prepping up for that other side. And again, I'm going to say hey to those of you following on Facebook. And we've got the Zoom meeting number listed right there in the chat for you, but it's 364-124-544. All right, on to the other side. Take a deep breath, grab the knee. Deep interlock of the fingers. Get the knuckles doing some of the work. There you go. And one thing I tell you, if you only interlock your fingers a little bit like this, that's all arms doing the work. If you really get a good lock and those knuckles jam up against each other, you can relax much more into the stretch. And I'm going to give you credit for 15 seconds there. And we're breathing. Holding that stretch. I've showed you that push technique. You can use that push technique freely now. Okay. If you feel stuck, you can push into your hands, hold it somewhere between 3 and 10 seconds, release, pull a little bit tighter. I see some nice relaxed feet. Some of you will have your knee right up on your ribs. Some of you will be 1.5 feet away from the ribs.
We're keeping our knee and ankle in line though.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we could see a vertical shot as it shows in the video, that ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder are all in one plane. One straight line. Right, I gotta grab my power cord from my computer here. And I've lost track of time a little bit. I'm going to guess that's about a minute and a half. So we'll start a 20-second final push. So I'm going to need to get a timer involved in this. And that is a suggestion we make for folks at home when you're doing the stretches, is to use a timer. Because right now you're listening to me and I'm guiding you through it, and you're not really paying attention to a clock, presumably. The more you pay attention to the clock, the less you're attending to the stretch. That's our 2 minutes, but if anybody wants to make a final push into the hands and hold it, 2, 3, 4, release it, and make a final draw on the stretch. And time. Butterfly to finish it up. And then we are going to move on to our fourth and final movement. Any questions out there? Anybody have pinching and binding in the hip? If you do, pinching and binding in the hip, when we address lunge stretch, we'll start to open that up a little bit for you. And hopefully make that easier. How's everybody doing?
Doing good. My only question is when you're pulling your knee into your rib cage, are you making sure it doesn't flare out to the left a little bit towards your shoulder and trying to keep it as central as possible, or are you allowing a little bit?
So the answer to that, good question, is you want to keep the center of your knee aligned with the center of your shoulder until you've compressed your rib cage and you can't go any further. Then you slip off to the side.
Okay.
Then you break that alignment. Once, for more flexible people, they can get their knee right down on the floor under their shoulder, right? So once you have reached your rib, yeah, there you go. See what Michael's doing there? How it's off to the side? That's okay. So Tiff, go ahead and shift it off to the side a little bit.
Adjust it. This is on my chest.
It just cut to you. There's jamming up, and then she shifts off to the side.
And then here. Yeah.
Nice.
Any other questions? All right, Sam, let's roll sit squat.
Hold the grab on them.
All right.
This one, we're gonna do sit squat.
Our sit squat is different than most other squats, as many of you watching know, okay? It's about sitting back. It's about compressing the body. You can see here in the video, torso goes to thighs, chest to thighs, right? You can see how the weight is going into her heels. You use different amounts of weight for counterbalance depending on your skills, right? It's intuitive that the stronger you are, the more weight you would do on this exercise. Well, this exercise is counterintuitive. When you're not that strong and can't find your balance point, you use a counterweight to help it. As you get stronger and more capable of holding the position, you drop the weight. There you see here, Tiffany's demonstration, she's not using any weight at all. And you're trying to make yourself long. You're trying to elongate from the fingertips to the buttocks while you're holding that seated squat position. All right. You can see the head positioning stuff there. All right, so that's the video. So everybody might have to take a minute to find a better position to do this in. Some of you might want something to grab onto. You know, you can open a door and have one hand on each doorknob. You can go to the kitchen sink and just hold on to the rail. And now what we're going to do is cut to Tiffany once again and watch her demonstration.
Okay, here's a chair for now.
All right. And go. All right. And she's just going to start doing some reps, and you guys are going to start doing some reps. And as I coach her, I will be considering all of you. And if I see particulars, I'll correct particulars. All right. So standing, and just like in pelvic tilt, you want to feel that ball of the foot on the floor. with the whole ball of the foot. The knees should be soft and have a little spring in them, not locked. Put on pelvic tilt, and then chin to throat. You want to feel as if you're being pulled from a string from the crown of your head, right? Right? Slightly back from center, crown of your head, pulled from a string, little bit bouncy. Show them the bounce, T. There you go. Okay, and then from there, as you drop into the sit squat, first thing you're going to do is reach those hands out and fold that torso down. Okay? Now you can see her knees are over her toes a little bit. She's going to try to shift backward. You see that shifting backward? You cannot do that if you don't fold your torso down to your thighs. There you go. Holding, and then you come up. You want to picture yourself coming up in a straight arrow up from your feet, okay? Just like you're being pulled up from the ground by a string, okay? Good. And then she's gonna, the work comes in that trying to sit back. You notice she lets herself down with the chair, and then she lets go of the chair, and then press out. Notice that she's holding each rep for that extended count. Go down a little bit slower, T. Hold, 1, 2, 3, press out, 1, 2, 3. Good. If you just bounce right out of this, you're not getting all the leg strength benefit you can get from it. It's the slow in and the slow out that really work that grip strength. There we go. Nice work. Gripping and holding. We're going to call that 4. And coming down into 5. Bending, flexing. Chest to thighs, sitting hips back, holding, holding, and pressing up. I don't know, Facebook, if you're being interrupted, because I have an incoming call that I see, which I cannot take. I apologize. Gripping, holding, holding, and coming up, up, up. Good. Lost count there. Let's say that's 8. If anybody's got a real count, I'll take it. For 9. Good. I'm just going to call some counts here. And we're going down in 1, 2, 3. Still exhaling and holding. 2, 3. And up, exhaling into 3. Inhaling into 3. Full inhale, going down in 1, 2, 3. Exhale and hold. 2, 3. Inhale and rise. 2, 3. Anybody feeling it? All right. Got some burn going. Let's keep pushing. Going down in 1, 2, 3. Holding. 2, 3. Pressing up. 2, 3. If you can't make 20 of these, that's okay. We're still going to go for 20, and we'll always be doing 20, and people can build up to it with us. 2, 3, and up. 2, 3. We're going to call that 15 and do 5 more. I might be able to count for 5. Going down. 2, 3. Hold. 2, 3, and up. 2, 3, that's 1. And going down, 1, 2, 3, holding, sit it back, hold it, grip it. It's okay if you have to step out, and up. 2, 3. Good one, Tim. That's all right. Those ones where you almost fall out of, those are A+, because that means you're really pushing that envelope. We got 3 more to go. Going down in 1, 2, 3. Holding, gripping, knees together. Don't let them flare. Come up in 1, 2, 3. I see a butt staying kind of high there. Feet. Drop it down. Sit it back. Hold on to something if you have to. And hold. 2, 3. Grip. Squeeze. Feel those thighs coming out. We got the last one right here. Let's make the last one a good one. I'm going to count the down hold for 5. We're going down in 1, 2, 3, gripping, sitting back. Come on, get there, kids. And we're going to hold for 1, 2, squeeze it hard, 3, holding 4, rising out slowly in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. All right. Shake it out. Anybody want to be a demo model on this? Sarah. You game, Sarah?
Yes.
All right, so pin Sarah up for us. We're going to do just a few reps with her. All right, there she is. All right. Show us what you got, Philly.
Okay.
All right. So nice and tall, feet on the floor, gripping the stance, chin to throat, pelvic tilt.
Is that better?
Yep.
Okay.
Feet gripping, knees soft, pelvic tilt, chin to throat. Big breath in, exhale in, drop back. Arms out, chest down. Get that chest down. More. Now sit back. Reach the fingers forward, drop the butt back. Don't need to go any lower, just sit back. I want to see it back. Back. There you go. And up out of it. There you go. That was a good rep. Press out of it. Good job. I would have you for a little bit holding something that weighs 2 or 3 pounds. You'll be able to sit back a little bit better. Same thing probably for anybody else that's at the beginner level. All right. Last chance for questions or comments. All right. Thank you, Sarah, very much. We are going to, that was, I believe, our 4th movement. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch phases in the program where we're going to bring on our guest. And our guest today is Michael. Okay. Everybody, we can go ahead and pin Michael up there, and I'll just talk through. Michael is a local San Francisco resident here who has been an in-house client with us. He's got over a dozen years of yoga experience and other athletic interests. He's very much physically aware dude, and has specialties of his own with relation to nostrums and healings and healing potions and other things. That's an aside. I'm going to let Michael introduce himself for a minute, and what he's going to do is share with us some of what the Foundation 5 has done for him and how it's affected his regimen and his awareness within his exercise program. So Michael, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, I've been engaged in yoga for like over a decade and a half, as well as like myriad other sports like boxing and snowboarding and pretty much anything that involves movement. And about 7 years ago, I started to develop like pretty bad hip imbalance, lower back pain, imbalance in shoulders, and all these things that I like went to, different chiropractors and body workers and, started taking up Pilates for, and I was really just confused about because I had been such an avid yogi for so long that it was kind of surprising my body was still in so much pain and felt so out of balance. So about 2.5 months ago, I joined up with Mark and started the program. I have found to be the greatest benefit so far is not just the release of pain and a feeling of becoming more like in balance for my body, but also the ability to apply all these foundational movements to all the different physical activities I do, and make them have a much smaller probability of injuring myself during doing them. So I found that especially with yoga and Pilates, it's easy when you don't have the foundational movements down to injure yourself by just trying to, rapidly go along with whatever the teacher is trying to instruct you in. And since I've started to apply things like the pelvic tilt, as well as like the cobras, which we'll probably talk about in next session, Since incorporating those, I injure myself far less weightlifting and in yoga. And even that little program there that we just did together reduced some of the pain that I built up over the last couple of days of kind of inaction. So that's been my experience so far in the last couple of months. And I'm excited to continue the program. So I don't know if you have any more specific questions for me or.
If you could speak a little bit to how the grounding and the foundation elements have translated into some of your other stuff, your other activities.
Oh yeah,
from
like
daily life to yoga.
Yeah, so I'd say that first and foremost, I mean, if we're doing yoga for 15 years, it's a little bit humbling to figure out you've been doing things kind of not the correct way for so long, despite seeing so many different teachers. But it's enabled me to start to approach postures within asana that I was unable to approach before. And I figured, oh, it's just how my body works. It's just kind of stuck this way. And I found that to not be the case. I have found myself able to get deeper into back bends without injuring myself, as well as even things like boxing, where I can actually produce more power in my punches from having proper alignment and having proper like foot placement and engagement of certain of the smaller muscle groups that were not getting attention before.
So to interrupt you right there, just because it's an important point, most of what we talk about in this context is rehabilitative and corrective. But you pointed out one thing right there that is a sort of a high magnitude example of the validity of this foot planting that we just did in pelvic tilt. That foot planting and that planting of the big toe that we just did in pelvic tilt, if you're in any of the striking arts where you throw punches, that is where the punch starts from. That anchored foot in that being planted on the ground allows you to push the energy of your thrust outward and prevents the recoil back toward you, right? If you throw a punch and you make contact in your knee bends and your ankle flexes, that's energy coming back into you that's not going into the target, okay? So sorry for that interruption, but it was a great opportunity to expand on the bigger value of things.
Yeah, also, I mean, it's, you asked me one time during a session if anything that you teach or anything in your program runs counter to anything I've been taught inside of other classes or inside of yoga or Pilates. And I'd say for the most part, 90% of what yoga teachers are trying to teach you is what's being discussed and what's being taught inside the foundational series. They just don't have the time to go into the specifics, or just kind of amateurs still learning the craft. It just makes a world of difference to kind of have that base there, even when it comes to doing simple movements like doing curls, which I see Kathy's partner over here busting out while we're chatting. If you're doing standing curls and you're not having proper foot engagement, and you don't have the pelvic tilt tuck, and you don't have the neck engaged, then you wonder why your whole freaking back is in pain the next day, because you didn't have the proper foundation. And so there's this association with working out is prone to injury a lot, and it's just because we're not holding ourselves and having the proper stabilizer muscles engaged while we're doing it. And of course, I've had to slow down and back off of my movements a lot and take them a lot slower, and not just throw myself into postures while I systematically keep the different foundational elements in mind. But the result of that is eventually being able to get to a place of higher strength with less injury. So I'm super excited to continue the program.
All right. Why don't we, I don't want to run this too long, but why don't you give us a little bit about when you first did them, and the unawareness graduating into subtle awareness and self-correction, graduating into noticing things just being correct in a moment.
Right. Yeah. I do want to preface by saying I'm still in the process of gaining better awareness, but I'd say the first few weeks was just a constant, catch myself inside of these postures with the neck exposed and, continuing to injure myself. But then about halfway through, about a month and a half in, I'd noticed that I could always notice when I was doing it, and I could pull myself back in, and it still takes a lot of tending at that point. But as of like a couple of weeks ago, I'd noticed myself naturally in proper alignment without having to think about it, which was pretty refreshing and encouraging. Still only like 2.5 months into the program, so I'm excited to check in like at the 6-month mark, year mark, and hopefully things are just all automatic. But I'd say definitely like in 3-week increments, I find myself more and more just defaulting into that proper alignment without having to put any thought into it, which is really, really, encouraging for me.
All right. And I hope it's encouraging for everybody else out there that sees this, because it does start slow. It is a little bit tedious, but everything worth having in life is mostly worth working for. So think about it in that vein, and we go forward from here. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we close this up? I'm wide open. There is a raise your hand feature on Zoom, or you can just start talking because we're a fairly small group here.
I just wanted to let people know that they can do their sit squat with a door handle if you need to hold on to something. So I just wanted to show you. It's pretty good height here. So you could lean back, really hold on to it, and you can really get the low back stretch in this way. That's something else we could use.
Yeah, that's an element of the sit squat that we didn't go over. When you're holding on to something, sit squat is actually a great tractioning exercise.
Yeah, really gets the low back. I also had a question if anyone else knows about any other Zoom meetings that they're interested in going on during the quarantine.
My next question was going to be, how often are these going to happen, and when can we look forward to the next one?
Yeah,
we're definitely trying to target once a week. We're kind of discussing as a team what we have the capacity for. With this new reality, everyone's working from home and trying to figure things out. But I definitely once a week, I would like to be. I'm also going to be doing some privates and some small group focused stuff for hire. So these free ones I want to do at least once a week. I would like to maybe get to 2 or 3 times a week, so that it could actually be a something that supports a person's workout routine. You can come, tune in, do the early exercises, and have that be the start of your own workout.
Awesome.
Sort of where I'm trying to go with it.
Well, we're happy that you're doing it. I do want to say, I think Pete and I both miss you a lot.
Huh?
We miss you. We miss
Oh.
you. We miss our appointment. And so this was great that you did this.
Thank you. I miss you guys too, and you're on my list to call. So we'll talk soon. Go ahead, tell your friends about this. Send people our way. The bigger it gets, the more we can do it.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Thank you.